Greetings, I'm George Boston Rhymes, and this is the Ghetto Free Press. I drove down from Valdosta, Georgia to a little town of Naylor. Naylor is about 10 miles east of Valdosta, Georgia. The reason I came to Naylor is because I didn't want to mention this. I didn't want to make this announcement in the metro city of Valdosta, Georgia, home of Moody Air Force Base, Valdosta State University, Georgia Military College, Wiregrass Technical College, and other historic and high prestigious levels of education and businesses. And so I came to a little small town to let you know about a phone call I received yesterday morning early. This retired cashier of a local bank, highly respected in the community, said to me, George, why is it that the Valdosta Daily Times does not have a picture of the Honorable Nelson Mandela on the front page? On the front page. I told her that I'm not going to do anything on that because I'm sure tomorrow they still won't have a picture on the front page. And believe it or not, this is Saturday's paper. With all the talk we see on CNN, Nightline, and the rest of the talk shows, the great work of the Honorable Nelson Mandela served 27 years for a crime in South Africa that he did not commit. And the rest of it is history. But here in Valdosta-Lowndes County, in the state of Georgia, we can't even get a picture of this great, outstanding human being of a man published on the front page of this metro city only daily newspaper. Now, in yesterday's paper, this lady she was a lady, by the way, she told me, she said, Rhymes, can you imagine Nelson Mandela on page 12A? Now look, don't y'all be negative towards me. I'm only doing what needs to be done. I am 100% sure that before all of this is over, the people outside of Valdosta-Lowndes County in the state of Georgia are going to see something that we have been knowing for years. Let me drop this. I'm through with this. I'm not going to dwell on this Nelson Mandela and how he's not even considered to be on the front page, because we are accustomed to this. Do you not know that when President Barack Obama won his second term, he wasn't on the front page? His wife wasn't on the front page. In fact, there was not even a picture of the president in the paper following the second election. We talked about it. You can see it all on YouTube. And so we must understand something here today. That we have always had to fight. Even to be, in fact, we had to fight just to go get a right to fight. And so this is nothing new to us as a people. We are accustomed to this. But there's something we also know. We also know that the God of our ancestors will be victorious. And those who fight against progress will be just like their forefathers who thought that their world would be unshaken. They thought things would remain the same. When God has said in his scriptures, in the Holy Quran, in the Torah, in the King James Version of the Bible, And if you could study the book of the Indians, the Gita, if you read the Gita, you will see that nobody gets away from this. Filled with hate, filled with discrimination, filled with unfairness of God's children. You just don't get away. Look, can you imagine here in Valdosta why I came to the little town of Naylor? I came to the little town of Naylor to make a statement. We have people right now that are attending Valdosta State University, Wiregrass Technical College, Georgia Military College, and all the city and county school systems. They are studying about history. They would love to have known about Nelson Mandela. I think it would have made them feel really proud of the metro city of Valdosta, Georgia, the city where KJ was found dead at the Lowndes County Gymnasium. The family thought that they had buried their son. Come to find out, body parts was missing. Couldn't get a permit to exhume the body without a little bit of controversy. Couldn't go to the crime scene, I was told by the investigators that I walked with. The fact that I'm on a 200+ criminal trespass warning since that young man was found dead on January 2013. So all these students that come here, the visitors that go to Wild Adventures theme park, don't you know they want to know what is happening in their world when they leave these various restaurants and hotels here in Valdosta and come in here on business deals and business trips? And when they look on the internet and they see all newspapers front page talking about a man who spent 27 years in a prison for doing nothing but stand up for the right of his people, and who had no hatred in him. He believed in treating white folks right, even when white folks in Cape Town, South Africa would not even consider him to be a human being, couldn't go out to see the sunlight, only could have one visitor a year, while he's confined to a little small oblong square in Africa. In fact, Africa is not even the name of that continent. That's a European white general's name. They took not only the humaneness from the African people, but they even took the name of the country of Kush or Ethiopian or Arkebulan, or going back to the land of the burnt face paper. All these names were changed to stick the name Africa on a continent of inner people. And we in America are so confused that we have to accept either the devil or Satan. We have always had to choose over the devil or Satan. And so because we were called many names, we were glad to be called African American. But that's an African general that went into Africa and did things that you need to study about. And they won't tell you that. They don't want you to know that. When we see Nelson Mandela picture, not on the front page of the newspaper, but on page 12A of yesterday's paper. So I want to commend the young girl yesterday that called me. She was a student at Bethune-Cookman College, I think it was. But she said, George, what's going on here in our city? I said, baby, that's where we live here. 31 jail deaths at the Valdosta-Lowndes County Jail, and not one church pastor, not one imam in Islam here, not one rabbi in Judaism, not one father and mother that have stood up in recent years about the sons and daughters and military veterans for whatever reason have died in that Lowndes County Jail. And the people that are talking about rats as big as cats. I just left McDonald's in front of Checkers this morning. A white man said, out in the jail is a disgrace, and if you talk about something, you could end up dead. A white man said that just a few minutes ago. And so I'm here to say that it seems as if though no black man or white right person or any American really, should join the United States Armed Forces until we can see a reflection of real freedom of the press and freedom of speech and freedom of religion. Do you know they call Barack Obama a Muslim? Yeah. The man have said who he was, and if he was a Muslim or an atheist, so what? So what? The Honorable Glenn Beck, so what? Rush Limbaugh, so what? Black female columnist Star Parker, so what? Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court, so what? In fact, while I'm at Clarence Thomas, to tell you the truth, after looking at his voting record, I would rather see no blacks at all. Let me say it so you can get me clear. I want you to understand me. I'd rather see no black at all on the United States Supreme Court than Clarence Thomas. Not that I have anything against him. Based upon his voting record and in comparison to Justice Thurgood Marshall, I would rather see no black at all on the Supreme Court than Clarence Thomas. And I don't have nothing against him. I think he's a beautiful man. I believe he is loved by his children, if you have any, and others. I love him. I have nothing against him. I just don't want to see him on the Supreme Court. I'd rather see any other person other than Clarence Thomas. See, it's not about skin color. It's about what is right in God's word. Once again, in closing. So I came to the little town of Naylor to let you see again what we must go through here. No picture of Nelson Mandela on the front page of yesterday's paper, nor today's paper. And it was from a local citizen here in Valdosta that brought this to my attention early yesterday morning. But I want to say this to you too. It seems that the old 1860 Valdosta City Charter, those are people who watch me on YouTube, and pretty soon I won't be able to cut no video because people watching, I got almost 500,000 views, and I thank you all for tuning in, and I hope that you all can get something out of this that is good for the betterment of this nation. And back on point. Do you not know that that old Valdosta 1860 charter was removed from the second floor of City Hall, which read that the mayor and council shall pass all proper and necessary laws and ordinances for the control of slaves and free persons of color, and to control, suppress, and abate all nuisances arriving from hogs, dogs, horses, and other livestock straying at large in Valdosta. That charter was removed in 2004 because I asked that it be removed, because it was offensive to me as a United States Armed Forces veteran, and because I didn't want any white person, black person, Japanese, or anyone else who put their life on the line to go to Valdosta's second floor and to see that disgraceful charter displayed. And so they reluctantly removed it. Former Mayor John Freddy didn't see nothing wrong with it. Some white councilmen didn't see nothing wrong with it. They wanted to keep it up. But thank God that the progressive movement of God, righteous human beings, wanted for their neighbor the same things they wanted for themselves, and it was taken down in early 2004. But do you not know that on the first floor of Valdosta City Hall, they have pictures of the 1800s on both sides of the hall? But there are no pictures of not one black building, a church or something they could put up to show our children when they come from all the schools in Valdosta-Lowndes County to tour our city government, that they will see something that look like the little black children that's in our community. And for the little white children who ask the question, how could they do this and don't put nothing, as if though black folk was never here? And even more sickening and embarrassing is that this has been presented for over 5 years before our mayor, two mayors, and the council, some black, haven't said one word about. All they would have to do is get with the Honorable Ralph or Roof Council. The pictures are already down to the museum. I've seen them. They want me to go down and get them and bring them up, and I refuse to do it. Because they can do it. It's a game being played. But let me stay on point. So when people come from Russia, China, Germany, France, Senegal, Johannesburg, South Africa, and they look on this first floor of Valdosta City Hall and see the exclusion of black folk and the accomplishments of black folk in comparison to not Naylor, but that metro city just 10 miles west of here. Nothing is displayed. How can our black bishops here in this town, and white bishops and white rabbis and Jewish rabbis and others feel comfortable by saying we are about diversity? We are about diversity. Something is seriously wrong in Valdosta. And I'm going to say to you, as long as I live, I'm going to continue to say that in the end, God's word will remain forever. The Bible tells us that God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man sow, that shall he also reap. And so I'm going to leave you now. To the young lady who called me, you know who you are. I just want to say to you, thanks for being a real human being. Thanks for being a real human being. This is Naylor, Georgia. I'm finna go back to Valdosta now. It's Saturday morning, but I just wanted to come down here. I didn't want to record this in Valdosta because too many of our students are seeking to get an education at Valdosta State University. And I'm sure they picked up the paper, and so I know they got that plastered all over the front page of the Valdosta Daily Times. Even 60 Minutes gonna do another clip tomorrow afternoon. And it all will be around this great American citizen by the name of, well, you can say he's an American citizen because it's not front page coverage, so you wouldn't know. But it was on front page coverage, and if you didn't know what happened, you could say, he was the president of, that went to president from the jail cell to the White House in Africa. But it's a shame that the black newspapers out of Atlanta and Macon cannot come down here and maybe show some diversity, show some Jesus. You know, Jesus said to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Short form, I put it like this: the love of Muhammad, the love of Jesus, the love of Buddha, the love of whatever your persuasion is, and you want to do good, you should want what is right for your neighbor. So short form, Jesus simply said, want for your neighbor that which you want, and have for yourself and your own children. Don't y'all be too hard on me. Don't be too hard on me, y'all. Don't be too hard on me for doing this. You see, God assigned all of us to a mission. And I want you all to say, as I close this out, I want you all to listen to what I'm about to say. I haven't said nothing yet compared to what I want to say. There's a whole lot I want to say. But my God won't let me say it. You don't have to believe that. Your God will let you sing. But because of my God and my love for humanity, I can't even talk about it. But the day is going to come. My children may have to pick it up and tell the rest of the story. It may be my grandchildren, it may be your grandchildren, or it just may be generations to come. But the God of my salvation don't play games with me. And he don't want me to play games with him. So this is why I don't dip. I don't duplicate Muhammad. I don't duplicate Jesus. I don't duplicate any of those people or worthies or divine sources. I don't imitate them. I don't placate them. I just want to show forth the love of all of them. Because where there is no love, there can be no freedom. Where there is no truth, there can be no freedom. And so, beware of those who carry on the 1860 Valdosta City Charter mentality to control, suppress, and abate the citizens or information here in South Georgia. Because it cannot stand when truth comes. When truth comes into the minds of those that seek truth, then all falsehood must vanish, and falsehood is forever a vanishing thing. And as a nation and as a community, we must understand. Let me repeat, as a community, state, nation, and world, I'm in Naylor, Georgia. We are not who we claim to be, but who we prove ourselves to be over a given period of time. As it is written in the Holy Quran, in the Torah, in the Holy Bible, in the Gita, and other great books of the Dead Sea Scroll, sooner or later, the people will be awakened to the new truth of the living God, and all games will be destroyed forever, because heaven and earth will pass away, but God's word will stand forever. Peace be unto you. Bye-bye.